Hi, my name's Zach, and I'm vaccinated.
And my name's Jackie, and I'm unvaccinated.
And we both got COVID-19 a week ago. This is our experience of being a vaccinated and unvaccinated person, people, patients. Oh.
Sorry, it's because of Tyson.
He's taking him off the couch again. God, fat ass. Cute fatty, yeah. Oh, big stretch. Oh, this look.
It started in the evening, and I basically didn't sleep all night. Woke up the next day and was feeling like, you know when you don't sleep and you feel like kind of drunk? I think that's what I thought was happening. So I was like shaking a little bit. I was getting kind of hot. I knew I wasn't like fully mentally here. And then as the day progressed, I just felt like more and more flu-like. So I was like getting really hot. My eyes started aching. I started to get kind of a headache. And because I thought maybe I was getting COVID, I started taking some supplements. So I threw up that day twice. I don't know if I would have thrown up if I didn't take the supplements because I didn't take them right. But I did throw up twice. And then it kind of stayed like that for a little while. And when I would stand up, like my head would pound, you know, that like ouchy, poundy head, dizzy kind of feeling. And then from there, it migrated into like a cold. So the third and fourth day, I started to get a cough, a runny nose, still super sleepy, very sleepy right now. Could be asleep if I wanted to be. It was kind of like a mild cold, but I do have mild cough and runny nose.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad was it?
Like a 7 maybe.
And are you still sick with it on day 8 now or day 9?
Day 9. I still have, like, it feels like the end of a cold, but not like the part where you're starting to get over it, the part where you still kind of have it.
On a scale from 1 to 10, where are you at right now with it?
3.
Okay, and quick disclaimer before we dive in any further into this video. This is not to disregard or disrespect anyone who had COVID-19 and had severe symptoms. This is a case study of 2 people who are in the same household, one being vaccinated and one being unvaccinated. We're both young, healthy. We have, I think, a pretty healthy daily routine and diet. And I think we also got hit with the Omicron variant. So it was kind of more like a flu already that we had known.
What were your symptoms like?
So I got sick 2 days after you got sick. And I thought that I had like dodged the bullet because I was vaccinated. I was like, oh, like I completely missed out on this whole thing. Look at me go. No, it just took a little bit longer for it to hit my immune system. And it hit me hard on the second night of Jackie's. I went to bed and I just had like one of those like tossy-turny nights where I was like sweating in my sleep. You know the scene from Apocalypse Now where the fan's spinning, he's like tossing and turning. You don't know this reference, do you?
No.
I woke up and I was like, gosh darn it, I got it. Sure enough, symptoms started getting worse. By the end of the first day, I was completely super fatigued, really tired, couldn't think. My skin was hot. And the first day was kind of like a blur.
How are you feeling?
Much better than I was before, and much better after spaghetti, but still sick.
Today's day 2 with COVID, and I think the biggest drawback that I have right now is like major, like brain fatigue. I have fatigue. I'm fatigued, and then brain fog. I having a very hard time like computing. But it's like I feel like I'm here. Like I feel like I'm all there. But then like when I try to challenge my brain with like a single thought, it just drops the ball completely.
What is this video about again?
I'm gonna go poop now.
Can I come with you?
No, you can't poop with me. I like to have my personal bathroom times. We have boundaries here.
Now, if we were to talk from a 1 to a 10 of like how I felt with it, I would give it like a 7. I feel like I've actually been hit by a lot of really hard flus and colds and fevers and pneumonia. Like my body has been a wrecking ball when it comes to like viruses this time of year. And this one like wasn't as bad. Like it's been like a 2-year buildup to meet COVID. And when I got it, I was like, oh. And this is, again, no disrespect to anybody who got it hit harder. For me, it just didn't really hit as hard as I thought it was going to, and something that like Anytime I sneezed or even like farted, I was like, I got it. I have COVID. Like it's hit me. For like 2 years worth of like buildup and worry and anxiety and panic and lockdowns and hating like anytime I sneezed, it really was like, if we were to look at it on like a chart as far as like a ramp goes, I would say day 1 was a peak 7, and then it sort of like kind of slowly went down. By day 4, I was kind of like back to normal. Day 2 was like still heavy symptoms of not being able to feel good enough to stand up or to move. I think the hardest symptoms that I got was brain fog and fatigue. I could not think, and sleeping was like the only luxurious thing that excited me. I just felt like a soreness and a stiffness that brain fog actually triumphed the flu-like symptoms that my body had. But by day 4, I think symptoms had ramped down. I started feeling tremendously better by day 5. It was, as my sister calls it, I turned the corner, and I felt like I had finally kind of like made it through. By today, on day 7, 1 week later, I am feeling completely fine, totally back to normal. The only times that I have like a glimmer of COVID, I think, in my system is when I try to do anything physical. What were the protocols that we did?
So before I share the protocols, I just want to say that we did these protocols as a way to give ourselves the best upper hand that we could. We can't necessarily say if they worked or not, but for me, I don't know if it was the same for you, but for me, especially being unvaccinated, I was really scared to get COVID, and I know some people have a really hard time with it. So just sitting around doing nothing was almost scarier than trying these protocols to see if they might help in any way. So even just having them felt like I'm not just sitting here waiting to see if I go to the hospital. There's something that we can be doing that might help us. We started with betadine, which is essentially just iodine. We have one for our nose and one for our throat. The idea of it is that you spray it up your nose, you spray it or gargle it into your throat. And the idea is that the virus, it starts in your nose and your throat, and it kind of like percolates there before it gets down. So the idea is you kill the virus before it gets really far down in your system. Then we had vitamin C, vitamin D, plus K. It's very important because you need the K to absorb the D.
Absorb the D.
Quercetin. This is called Healthy Lungs. But the most important part is that it has NAC in it. The throat lozenges have helped my cough immensely, for sure, I know.
Personally, I don't know how much the protocol helped. And when it came to us wanting to treat this, there was really not a lot of information out there. I even went to a pharmacist and they're like, you can't treat COVID. I was like, oh, well, thank you. But we had found that instead of sitting at home feeling hopeless, like this thing was going to like overwhelm us and consume us and maybe put us on a ventilator, we found that having a routine that kept us accountable when feeling really sick was actually a silver lining in the whole experience that allowed us to like feel like there was some sort of thing that we could be doing every day to try and like help with our symptoms, whether or not it was placebo, whether or not it has been proved by science or not. It felt really good to have something to do. I do feel like if there was one thing that I did see legitimate results from, it was the Benadine. I personally, anytime I've ever gotten sick, I feel like it's a staple to get a sore throat and stuffy nose. I did not get those, which are key symptoms of COVID-19.
Okay, so final verdict. Does the vaccine help with COVID-19?
Yes, I think it has helped out. If you look at me and Jackie's timeline on a chart, she is still sick. She has a cough. She's still facing symptoms of fatigue. I feel like I've gotten completely out of it. And when we started, if you said that you were at like a solid 8, perfectly cute cough. Jackie was at a solid 8. I don't think I went past a 7. Now, you could say this was from immune system. You could also say that this is from the vaccine. It could be a pairing of both, but in our both case studies I believe we got the same strain, the same variant from the same situation. We haven't left each other's vicinity for the past 3 weeks. Our symptoms were slightly different. Now, is it a huge difference? Does it help completely, radically change you from life or death situation when it came to the two of us? Absolutely not. we both got hit with similar symptoms.
Yeah, and I have questioned my choice about whether to stay unvaccinated or to get the vaccine. And after having COVID, I wouldn't change what I've done in my decision going forward. I wanted some stories of regular people getting COVID and what their experiences were like, because you do hear the extremes most of the time. So sometimes it's nice to just hear a regular person's story with how their body handled it.
What I can say is that we had a mediocre COVID experience. I would not wish to have anything more exciting. I actually really liked how boring our experience was, and more from many friends and families of ours who have gotten COVID, they have also expressed how mediocre their experience was, which means we're in a good spot now. It's not as like crazy and scary as it was. And now, you know, after coming face to face with the devil and eye to eye with something that we've been fearing for a very long time, it's kind of like cool. Saw it, got the t-shirt, watched, you know, a bunch of relatively decent shows, and now we're over. That's our experience. We would love to hear about your experience and what you went through. If you have had COVID or know of anyone who went through it, share that in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories, as well as
what you maybe tried to do to prevent it or make it not as bad as it could be.
Make this a chat that's fun and interesting and hopefully not political or angry, but share your love to those who are maybe even sick right now. And that's it. Hopefully you guys have an amazing time and absolutely love every single one of you. Cannot wait to make another video, and let us know what you'd like to see from us next.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Have an amazing day, and stay happy, healthy, and love all of the people around you that are so close.
Like I love you.